3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And we live. Welcome to the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
This is Kiana.
And I'm the one and only Mr. Edmund.
This program is being brought to you as part of the Women's Project of the Community Development and Training Center, aka CDEP.
Dad.
We'd like to thank y'all for tuning in, helping us to redefine what's cool. The smart is
The new.
Gangster.
baby.
And if you don't know,
Now you know. Now you know. And we also want to thank y'all for tapping in, tuning in, and welcome you back. We have a robust panel. And what they said was so nice, we're going to do it twice. Right. So we're going to run it back. And we want to thank y'all, those who tuned in, tapped in. Thank you for sharing it. Lots of views, lots of engagement. And so we want to continue the conversation and have part 2 of our conversation about gun violence, domestic violence, and mental health. And it got so good to us, y'all. We ain't really get into gun violence and domestic violence. And so we're going to make sure that we start with that and kick that off. And so if y'all just tapping in, tuning in, get ready for the ride. And so just for some context, over the past few months, our community has experienced several tragic acts of violence that have shaken residents and raised difficult questions about safety, relationships, mental health, and the health of our families. So this conversation, again, is not clickbait. It's not to sensationalize crime or assign blame. It's all about understanding what's happening beneath the surface and identifying some practical ways that our families, neighbors, faith communities, and others can work together to prevent violence before it happens. So the goal of this conversation is not reaction, from reaction to prevention and from tragedy to triumph. And so joining us today, we have Sister Nayyirah Muhammad.
I'm here. Thank you all so very much for having me back as part 2. I'm happy to share space.
Amen. And she's founder of Prepare the Black Family, focusing on family restoration, relationship education, spiritual development, generational trauma, and family systems. We also have King Jab, the voice of the people.
Hey, how y'all doing? Leaning forward.
Leaning
forward. No,
you good. All right. And, King Jab is an entrepreneur, community advocate, has lived experience, a mentor, personal accountability is real big in Jab's wheelhouse, and again, entrepreneurship. So thank you for being here. We also have Janet Michelle.
Hey, beautiful people. Janet Michelle with Finding My Happy Mental Wellness Company.
Amen. And mental wellness, emotional healing, boundaries, resilience, and personal transformation. Also author of Chucking the Deuces to Toxic Thinking. And so thank you for being here. And then we have Mr. Ed Rowe, community leader.
Yes, thank you. I'm glad to be here again for a second round.
My brother, grassroots leadership, community engagement, community safety, and resident advocacy. And then we also have Mr. Edmund, and your brother John.
and if you don't know who we are,
just go back and watch the last 8 years of the program, and we'll catch you up and bring you up to speed. Let me check the comments and see if we got any off-air production. Charlie Funk was good. We appreciate that, and thank you as well. So again, y'all, just kind of setting this up. Last week alone, our community experienced multiple tragedies.
Yes.
City employee lost her life in what police are describing as a domestic violence homicide. An 18-year-old lost his life inside of the Child's Park YMCA during what investigators say was an illegal gun transaction, and that turned into a attempted robbery. Hashtag allegedly. And then just weeks earlier, we had a 14-year-old that was killed outside of a neighborhood market following an argument between teenagers. And so there are different incidents with different circumstances, but they raise many questions, and a lot of them are the same questions. And so what's happening in our community? What's missing? And more importantly, what can we do to prevent the next tragedy? Again, so the day isn't about politicking, it's assigning blame, it's about healing. And so we'll kick it off with a one-word icebreaker. Y'all know how we do it. We're gonna do double dutch, so just jump in, don't be shy. If you spot an opening, take it. So in a word, what does our community need most right now?
Prayer.
And feel free to explain your answer if you like. And if you don't like, somebody else
I think resources is important right now. And the reason I say resources, because just mental health resources, financial resources, right? Because with death come a lot of things, right? Life don't stop because somebody died. it keep moving. So we need all the resources we can get right now.
That's what's up. Word.
In addition to what has been already shared, one of the things that came to my mind when you asked the question is when I was 17 years old and I was going through the hardest time of my life because I was, very young and had a lot going on with my parents and school and stuff. The Jehovah's Witnesses used to come and knock at our door.
Yes.
And they would
Yes.
come inside and pray with you or, study with you. And I truly believe right now, just as a community, we should just get some door-to-door squads,
Okay.
and just let's go knock on some people's doors and just let them know that we here, do some surveys or just what do you need and want?
Yeah.
Because sometimes as leaders, we want to tell people what they need and want. Why don't we ask the question, what is it that you need? And go knock on some doors and get in the household with people. My grandmothers and when I was coming up, the prayer squad used to come to your house.
Yeah.
In the living room,
Yeah.
everybody hold hands, and so like you said, in addition to prayer, but let's get out and ask the community, in particular the youth, who's in the house. Like they do the census report. No, we coming, and we gonna come in and talk to your children and see what they need and want. And I believe that we will be more effective with service in our community when we get more door-to-door squads.
Thank you for that.
I would just add, like what everybody else is saying. It's just more spaces, third spaces
Okay.
to process and outlet.
Third spaces.
Yeah, third spaces outside of like homes and
Okay.
these
Yeah.
other spaces for an outlet to express. And we don't all outside, and not just a club,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah, I hear that.
like a third space to kind of have an outlet, like particularly with the kids, like when the post you did,
Yeah.
we were reminiscing about
Okay.
old
Yeah.
things.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it hit me. I was like, we really had spaces. We didn't have to go far. We had the skating ring.
Yeah.
We had the movie theater.
Mhm.
We had the different, like the teen councils and clubs and stuff like that.
Right.
Coming up. We had an actual mall in St. Pete,
Mhm.
Maximum. Well,
Maximum.
It turned into, but we had a real mall like Sears and all those stores used to be there before it turned into like the flea market thing.
Mhm.
And then we did stuff.
Yeah.
And the kids nowadays, they're missing some of that.
Right.
They can still go like to Pano's Park.
You gotta travel to get to
You gotta
those third
travel,
spaces. Yeah.
right? But we can hop on our bike or walk in
Yeah.
groups to go to these spaces.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Cute
Community and hub.
Community and hub.
Yes, you knew your neighbor. How many people, unless you still stay in your same neighborhood, how many people know their neighbor?
I guess that's the one on that setup.
It's pick it up. It's picking up pretty good.
Yeah. I hear you. 'Cause I hear you. Yeah.
Lean good.
Yeah.
My bad. I got you. Sorry.
And I hear that.
Yeah, but I think just knowing your neighbor. Like if the kids walked down the street, if I did something wrong, Miss Etna was gonna tell somebody.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Like she could snatch me in and all that, and you just don't know your neighbors as much as you did before.
Right. Jeff, you got a word?
I'm gonna throw my word up again. You might remember this, Brother John. I think our community needs proctored accountability.
Mm. Say more.
For example, got cameras all over Jordan Park,
Yeah.
and there's shootings in there every week. Where's the arrest?
Mm.
We have resources, we have programs. These programs are supposed to be doing what they're supposed to be doing, but there's no accountability, so we can put in the numbers whatever numbers we want
Yeah.
to meet whatever numbers they need.
Get a few people up, tell a story about how
Exactly, and it's
I got on.
you got to realize these programs are funded and these programs are paying people's salary. So these programs we should be overseeing and say, hey, what are you really doing in our community? Somebody's livelihood is being paid for this, so we need to realize that. So, proctored accountability.
I hear that. And so thank y'all for that. That was what we would call, I guess, our icebreaker. And in this first question, and we're going to try and do this in segments so that we can get through it. So we're going to talk about the gun violence. And this question will be for you, Brother Ed, knowing that you work alongside residents, you out there I remember being at an event hearing you talk about, you know, your experience with some of the youth. And so when you hear about incidents like these, what concerns come up for you? And are you seeing any patterns that are emerging from the things that you see in the work?
Yeah, from what I've observed, a lot of the guns that they are grabbing are coming from irresponsible gun owners who aren't locking their car doors.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guns that we are seeing on the streets are from breaking in, kids grabbing on doors, and they're actually not going to steal the cars. They're trying to get the guns because the gun owners are so irresponsible, and everyone has a gun. They leave it in their car, and the kids are smart enough to understand that. So when they see a car, definitely.
Yeah.
That's how they're getting their guns.
Okay.
It's not buying trade. It's more so we're getting in these cars because these gun owners are being so relaxed and not locking their doors, and it's a jackpot for the kids. They're just running across these guns just randomly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's definitely a trend.
I hear that. Any other patterns? Anybody else seeing any patterns emerging that when you look at the lay of the land and you see what's going on with the violence and the individual things that are happening?
I think the pattern I see is that it's like we go right back to normal a couple of days later. It's like it's nothing. There's no galvanizing moments coming from this stuff, right? There's no moment that's making people say, okay, this is enough.
Yeah.
Like the true, no matter how sad it gets, no matter 13-year-old, whether it's the mother, no matter what it is, the next day we right back. Like, there is nothing really triggering like a real change.
Wow. And so you repeat the cycle where you have that outrage moment, and then we have the grief, we have the shock, the grief, the outrage, and then back to normal, and the news cycle continues. And thank you all for coming back. And that's what we said last week. Like after we had the conversation, we said we know that the news cycle changes, and we didn't want to be a part of that change because this is such an important conversation.
That's right.
So thank you for that. And then King Jab, you've actually experienced both sides of difficult decisions. And so when you see, these young men out here getting involved with guns and violence or any illegal activity, in your experience, what is it that they're looking for when they're signing up, to be a part of that life? Is it money, respect, protection, belonging? What would you say?
I hate to be the dead horse guy, but unfortunately, I'm always point back to the men in the household.
Okay.
It's no accountability. Man, I've just raised two young men. It's no way you're gonna be in my house with a gun, a 9 set of car keys, and I don't know what the heck going on.
Say that again.
And I ain't stepping down
and 9
set of car keys.
Yeah.
And I ain't stepping down on you and what's happening, homeboy.
Right.
It goes back to men in the household. And you don't have to be the men in the household, just men in these kids' life. And you can't be a man that just pop up to discipline. You have to actually be in these children's lives.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing you can be, is the one that come there to beat them when their mama said they did something wrong, but you're not there for any other thing.
The boogeyman, yeah.
So it just really fall back on us, and unfortunately, to fill the gap and to stand in the space, we have to be that for multiple children, even children outside of our household.
And I appreciate you lifting that up. And one of the as you was answering, and I'm reading this question and reading the room, we put a lot of emphasis on young men in violence. But I'm seeing on social media, there's young women and young girls getting down.
Hold on.
Yes.
Stop.
Yeah.
True story. I'm at the light, 54, 31st, car rage accident. Car on the right side of me, jump out talking trash to the car on the left side of me. That girl in that front passenger side pulled out a stick.
Wow.
I'm like, oh, okay. I hit the horn like, hey, you in front.
We got to get up out of here.
Yeah.
And it's wild.
Yes.
I think too, it's one of the things that's missing is if people don't take the top. I feel like our community doesn't take the topic as they should, and it's teaching people how to control their anger.
Okay. Yeah.
And since being in the therapeutic space, I'm starting to see that that's really something that needs to be taught, is how to control your anger. But people, to me, it's just like, it's not talked about enough. We'll use a big word like de-escalation and stuff that. That's the fancy way to say it. But at the end of the day, you need to learn how to walk away so you can live another day. And that is and that's something that we do that does start in the house.
Yeah.
Is teaching our kids how to control their anger, because kids that don't know how to control their anger turn into adults that don't know how to control their anger.
Yeah.
And it gets worse the older you get, because you're capable of doing more damage the older you get. And sometimes it starts with your mouth and what you're saying and how you speak and the things that you say with it. And it can trigger, it really can set off, a chain reaction. But teaching people how to process their feelings, how to identify their feelings, how to really get control of that anger. You hear, oh, they're just a hothead.
Yeah.
Oh, that's just how they is. Oh, don't mess with them. They about that life.
Yeah.
Okay. And they about that life because they haven't learned how to control their anger. And then when their anger gets the best of them and they do these things that send them away, when they're sober minded in a jail cell, they have time to sit and reflect, which that could have happened on the outside. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you're saying. It's a lot that's swirling around.
It is, and when I'm thinking about it too,
It's control the anger.
and people buy into the names that people give them, like you said, the hothead.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the fighter, and you think that you have to live up to that role because somebody has said that's who you are. You know what I mean? You be like, oh yeah, she just mad, and then she just end up being the mad person, even if she don't want to, because she has now accepted the role that somebody else has defined for them. So I would say be careful on what you name your children and the people around you, because they become that.
Right. Right.
No, I was just agreeing with Q on it, living up to expectations, right? Living up to false expectations. And I was kind of like what Jad was saying about the young girls jumping out and fighting. I think we ignore what the women doing because of how violent the men are. Right? We see women fighting, bats, even a knife or two, and we be like, okay, they fighting. Versus, we're homing them out there and they pulling out them sticks and they letting them off.
Right.
It's a difference, but at the same time, it's the same thing. And I think if we keep ignoring both of them, both of them gonna get worse and worse progressively.
Right. And what you said too, Janet, just brought me to something. I know, Sister Nayera, you're familiar with this, and maybe you can help us understand it a little more. This idea of like when you're saying things to your children, and then things that have been said about us, how we go into agreement with them. I heard it like be called command phrases or something like that. And so when they constantly tell you bad, or they telling you aggravating, and then the work that you're doing with families and the processing that you do, how does that show up in your work? How do you address, or I would say, kind of break those agreements, and how to help people break those agreements so that they can be their true self?
Right. So communication is the universal solvent, right?
Okay.
So we have to continue to teach people how to properly communicate. When you're talking about passing down generational trauma, this is generational trauma. If anybody ever studied epigenetics, right? I usually have my book, but I don't have it today. Dianetics, right? These things are at a cellular level, and they are re-stimulated by your environment, right? By the people that you are around. Right now, you talked about social media. It's social engineering, right? Then you have in the household, it's a badge of honor to have guns now. I know people personally, not going to incriminate nobody. They literally have gun collections. And the children have access to these gun collections. So when I get 13, 14, 15, I get a gun. That's a badge of honor. When it comes to the girls, these guns pretty now, right? And they putting them on pretty now. Pink gun, got my pink ear, all of these things, and they're on social media. So,
I got a purple one.
Right. So when it comes down to language, language is important. yes, my mama, you know, if your mama, our mama beat our behinds, this is how we rear our children.
Yeah.
Now they don't know how to talk. They don't know how to talk it out, right? They don't know how to get before each other and have a conversation. I'm gonna pop off on you. You know, it's the pop off season or the crash out, right? So yes, in my work, what I do find is that we are passing down generational trauma. And I do believe that we need to get back to the language of how do we break the cycles, the patterns. Those are the type of conversations I believe that we need to have, and then come with effective solution that actually can eradicate this. This is why I love the book Dianetics, because in there it teaches you about, watch this, the reactive mind. We're not responding, we're reacting, right? And there is a difference. There's a difference, differentiation when it comes to the reactive mind and your analytical mind. And people don't understand that that's scripture too, because a double-minded man is what? Unstable in all his ways. So now you got two minds and you don't know which mind you operate from because you don't have the knowledge of that mind. And Jesus said, when the truth comes, the truth will set you free. Well, what truth are we being exposed to? Because I can have the truth of, okay, it's good to have that gun and that's my level of freedom. But no, we got to know about this reactive mind, point blank, period. And we got to get in the homes or get in our communities, I went to a healing circle yesterday. Oh my God.
Thank you.
You understand? That was just so amazing. But I just want to say, going back, and I'm gonna close it off with this, we have to understand that communication is the universal solvent. We got to stop talking at and talk with.
Right. And if y'all just tuning in, thank y'all. We're talking about gun violence and some solutions, some causes to that. And one of the things that I'm hearing, it came up in different ways. And I think this is one of those topics where our community can be divided a lot. And so I'd like to get your perspective on it. We've had the conversation about gun ownership. Ed talked about responsible gun ownership. You talked about the glorification of owning guns. And then Q was like, yeah, I got my cute little gun.
You do?
So and I've seen both sides of it. I've seen like advocacy for, you know, people having guns. And then I've seen, well, we don't need guns, we need XYZ. So what are your take? What's your position on gun ownership as far as the community?
I think it's the American way.
Okay.
You know, I think that it's a part of people's rights. And, you know, if people choose to exercise their rights, then it's good. But I think without the tools, without conflict resolution, and you see this in any community, right? Not just our community. You see, you know, white communities, people grab their gun and go and snap, right? And crash out. Right? So it cuts both ways. Like you say, blood ain't got no name on it. But I think we have to get a grip on the people. Because like guns gonna be out there. If it wasn't guns, it'll be knives. If it wasn't knives, Cain killed his brother with a brick. You know what I'm saying? So what we're gonna do, brick control? You know what I'm saying?
That's good. Cute.
I say, y'all know I'm a gun advocate. But I do think that you need to be responsible and you need to be educated. I do think it's an unhealthy infatuation with guns with people, and these are people who are not educated and not using their guns properly. If you are going to be a gun owner and you have children, you need to educate your children about these guns. You need to sit this gun down. You need to tell it what it do, what not to do with it, so the infatuation of it leaves. You know, and I think
lock it up.
I mean, that needs to be locked up as well too.
It's not a gun safe.
I mean, you should, when you buy your gun, it comes locked. You have a little safe with it, like you
Depends where you buy it from.
Well, I mean, if you buy it from the right place.
We talking about responsible gun.
Right. No. But when you're thinking, and I'm an advocate for a responsible gun, like if you're not, and then if you feel like you got to if you're in places where you think you have to let people know you have a gun, then maybe you're in the wrong place.
I ain't never really been nowhere and thought to myself, oh man, I wish I had a gun right now. Like I just don't go to those places. I see your wheels turning. Ed, what's your position on gun ownership?
Gun ownership. Now, I actually very close to a few younger people that as soon as they turn 21, they're 19, they're 20, they're thinking, I can't wait till I turn 21 just to purchase a gun.
Wow.
So like that's their thing. 21, I get a gun. It's back when I was that age, we was just glad to be alive at 21.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So now it's like when they turn 21,
They're
I'm getting a
looking
gun.
forward, yeah.
I don't care if I got to spend my last 400 to get it. I'm gonna be a gun owner.
Wow.
And that's something that they look forward to. Is actually owning a gun.
What do you think is driving that desire to
The culture.
Okay.
The culture.
Okay.
The just being I'm strapped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I got a gun. I'm legit.
Yeah.
I could. They feel like just because they're a gun owner that they can kill somebody. They literally think that in their mind, I'm a gun owner. I could
I
shoot
got a
you.
legal strap.
They don't know the
Yeah.
law.
Yeah.
They don't know to stand your ground. They just, I'm a gun owner.
Wow.
It's just so easy to turn 21. You can get a gun. I don't care what your thinking capacity is. 21 ID, they're gonna sell you a gun. As long as you got your money.
Wow.
They have a 3-day wait. What is it? 3-day wait?
It's a 3-day wait once you know to make sure that you pass the background. Like you got
I
to
passed the background, but I'm
And
still
then you
incompetent.
Yeah.
I passed the background.
Yeah, they're not giving you emotional
Yeah.
No,
intelligence
they're
tests
not.
Yeah,
to
just
see where you are.
you
They're
got the
not doing
money. I'm
mental
gonna sell you the gun.
health
And
Pass the background.
Yeah.
Come get
And we
your gun.
see it. We
Yeah.
see it. We see when the mass shootings and all that other stuff.
Big
What
shit
happened?
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
they got
listen.
real
Army
guns.
guns.
Yeah.
But have
Army
you?
gun.
But it's
Yeah.
the excitement of going to the range,
They
shooting
not
it.
the range
I'm
is
just
the street.
No, but I'm
They're
just
not going to the gun range.
Responsible gun owner.
Like my son, right, which
Yeah.
is Cheyenne younger, like he likes guns, but like he never pulled it out, and we done been at the gun range together. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like he buys his guns, he go to the gun range, his stuff is locked up, he ain't got no problem with it. So like everybody's not out there, but there is a group of people that
That's
is.
what-
Why did he
that's
buy the gun though?
Yeah. I want to make it all. Make it
Oh,
all
go ahead.
coming to you last.
What was the question again?
We're just talking about gun ownership. And your
Oh,
position
yeah,
on-
yeah.
yeah.
I'm for responsible gun ownership. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't see a problem with people having weapons. And I do think it's a culture thing because if you've ever like been to the country, like they like hunt,
Yeah.
hunting season, like that is it's embedded.
No, when I think country, I'm thinking like Leesburg and Ocala.
That's
And
the
they love
problem.
it.
Like Georgia,
Yeah.
you know,
It's the
yeah.
country too. We
Yeah.
still in the country.
Right.
It's got beaches, and so but you know, I mean, like you see the difference, and so for me, it's like, oh, okay, like again, I don't have a problem, but responsible gun ownership because I think ultimately, like when I think about like how intentional things are
Mhm.
when they're introduced into our community, like we kind of have to meet force with force and have that same intensity to eradicate like the appeal of it. Because like when we were coming up, it was like Boys in the Hood. The movie Boys in the
Yeah.
Hood.
Yeah.
I had never heard about a drive-by shooting.
Mm.
Up to that point, I had not heard about a drive-by shooting. When Boys in the Hood came out,
Social condition.
Yeah.
and I kid you
Programming.
not, and then it was like Boys in the Hood, and then gangster music started to climb.
Yeah.
And MC Hammer started getting clowned.
Yeah.
And it was like the perfect storm. And I knew something was different because I'm gonna keep it short. One summer this is shortly after we were at my aunt's house. We were all sitting in the house and playing. It was summertime,
Mhm.
and my cousin and my male cousin and my female cousin, her boyfriend and his friend, they were outside, but they were playing around. We heard pop, 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 pop. So all of us in the house, we ducked.
Yeah.
And then my cousin, he came to the door, shirt covered in blood. He busted the door. We thought he got shot,
Yeah.
but he didn't get shot. But my cousin boyfriend and his friend, they got shot. Somebody had did a drive-through shooting, 17th Avenue, 7th Street, right in the hood.
Yeah.
I had never known that to happen.
Wow.
Like, never known that to happen. And I was like, you know, we had like teen clubs and stuff like that. You hear about little things, but I don't recall
Yeah.
in the late 80s, early 90s, like that happening in St.
Like worrying about being so
and the drive-by shooting
Yeah.
happened, and then it was like just
Yeah.
automatic, and it's just like it was like a bomb
Right.
was dropped off in our community, and it was up from there. Because then you got, like I said, you got the music, and now you got the movies, and now you got the drug game
Right.
that just upped it up.
Amen.
So,
King Chad, gun ownership. To have or not to have. Or somewhere in
kind of
between.
long way around.
Somewhere.
So I just wish we could figure out how to stop being so angry with each other first.
Yeah.
But contrary to what everybody is thinking, I believe that every young black male at the age of 11 and 12 should learn how to operate a firearm and learn basic survival skills.
Wow.
And it's not basing it on a white counterpart, it's based on other countries.
Okay.
At those ages in other countries, their kids are hunting, they're learning how to survive.
Mhm.
We can't hide the fact that there are firearms from them, but they don't even know how to use a firearm. For one, that'll stop people from shooting themselves.
Okay.
The safety of
Accidental shooting.
Like that is a bigger.
I
That
just
is
saw
part
that.
of the problem. Also,
21 Savage
Nephew.
Yeah.
killed himself after accidentally shooting his sister. Yeah.
So
to your point, yeah.
And like even with me, my stepfather taught me how to shoot at a young age. I could really shoot.
Yeah.
Like literally, part of the problem that the feds and the St. Pete police had with me, because I used to be at the St. Pete police range with them, shooting bigger stuff than them, more accurate than them.
Yeah.
And they like, well, who the hell is these dudes over here?
Yeah.
And this is part of life.
Yeah.
We could take and say, hey, we don't need no guns in our hoods, but let's just be real. Sooner or later, our hoods will be under attack.
Yeah. And the witness,
the
American way.
Let's just be real. The gentrification.
Yeah.
Ain't no out of shape, older. Let's see, gentrifiers moving in our hood.
Yeah.
This is military.
Yeah. No, I hear
that. We're pushing our kids to Arbordale because we ain't scared of nothing, bro.
Yeah.
All right, now come on, man. This is in our hoods, bro.
I hear that. Sister Naira.
Yes, sir. This is a very lovely conversation, and I love all of the viewpoints. And I thank you for about the gun, knowing how to use the gun. I do believe that people should be educated on how to effectively use it.
Yeah.
I am a student follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, and well, before I go there, in my household, my mama didn't buy my brothers guns. Like toy guns, you know, toy guns. So we learned that as a very young age
you don't
play with guns.
Yeah.
Right. And I raised my children and my grandchildren now.
Yeah.
However, coming into the Nation of Islam, we're taught that you don't even carry a penknife.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And we're taught to be trained fighters.
Mm-hmm.
Right. In the nation, the babies, you get trained on how to fight and how to take a gun.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So
if it end up in my hand, I know how to use it.
I know how to use it.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where that gun education comes in. And
Go with the gun education.
right. And beautiful enough, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan just addressed the country. Like if you can go online now, and he addressed the country, he told Trump to put the guns down. Right? Put that down. Yeah. And with that being said, we just had our national training where the nation go and you are training to fight. Goes back to the military things. We got to be trained fighters, and we got to teach from the babies how to pick up a baby bottle, and use that baby bottle. So when it comes to gun violence, I mean using guns or having guns, I'm not. I don't participate in that because you know my training is different.
Yeah.
But I do know how to defend myself, and I'm training my family on how to defend themselves. You know, and in the Nation of Islam, we're taught that you shouldn't even carry a penknife.
Yeah.
But that don't mean we don't know how to fight.
That's right.
Okay?
Believe that. Believe that. Thank y'all for that. And I just wanted to lift that up because it came up in different points and just kind of level set with where we are. So we're going to transition and really get into the conversation.
One key point.
Sure.
She said know how to fight. That is a very key component in dropping gun violence.
Okay. So let me double click on that. I was about to transition. But one of the solutions to gun violence is knowing how to fight. But also, I want to say, the fighting only leads to gun violence. I mean, we can try to pretend like it, but
we got to teach people how to deal with their anger. Because the fist fights is what led to the gun violence. Well, how y'all think we got here?
No,
You got the best of me in a fist
We
fight.
got here
Now,
from people fighting, jumping, and people say you're not gonna jump me, you're not gonna fight me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a shorty, I had a homeboy, and one of his models, if you put your hands on me, I'm gonna shoot.
wow.
This was 90, 93.
And probably too many people didn't put their hands on him though, right? I mean,
he shot a lot of people.
okay, well there you have
I'm
it.
just-
There you have it.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I do remember a part of our culture was making sure your hands was right.
Yeah.
The hand team,
You
like
were
like
known
slap boxing
that you
in
could
the
fight.
streets,
Yeah.
and like that was part of our team.
Well,
Like
where did that lead?
every day, it didn't lead up to gun violence.
A lot of
It led us
people
to like
did.
some head up phase. It led us to some. It led us to be here today because we lived to fight another day.
Yeah.
That was my lived experience.
Yeah.
with it. But I hear what you're
But
saying.
with our
Yeah.
society,
Yeah.
so when we think
Yeah.
ourselves,
Yeah,
then we miss the bigger picture.
yeah,
Where did that lead our society? Where did that lead Child's Park?
yeah,
Right? Where did that lead the kids who was watching us squabble?
yeah.
Right? Where did that lead
Juice,
them?
though.
I mean, I ain't saying did that lead them to keep fighting?
Some of the people it did, because you think about how many. So look at the people that's still here without gun violence, and
Yeah.
the people that left with gun violence. There's more people here left that they fought another day.
And I
You
remember
know-
seeing the whole there was a movement at one point around like gloves up, guns down,
Yeah.
teaching
Yeah.
people how
It
to
led
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
a killing.
Go ahead.
It led to a killing.
Yeah.
Fights lead to gun violence, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
They brought it to St. Peter, somebody got killed.
so the stopping the violence start with not putting your hands on people. Period.
But self-defense and fighting is two different
Right.
things.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
we
There
we
go.
must
Yes.
know self-defense,
That's right.
right? Because culture is stronger than heredity, and the truth is, what we just said, we're gonna come up against some things where we're gonna have to know how to defend ourselves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Point blank, period. And if we're not training as individuals, training our children, training our families, they get in a position they don't know what to do,
Mm.
right? So me coming up, it's a different culture, but my mama taught us, somebody hit you, you better hit them back,
And
right?
then my mama taught me if
Right.
they're bigger than you, you pick up something.
Right.
And
Right. So, but
Yeah.
so now we're
Yeah.
we're in a society where I truly believe that we have to know self-defense.
Yeah.
How to defend yourself against your attackers. And the Honorable Minister Farrakhan teaches us, and we believe this, we're aggressor.
No.
Yeah.
But we do have the God-given right to fight with those who fight with us in the name of Allah, in the name of God. If you fight with me, I'm gonna fight with you back.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah,
But
we're
we're
not
not the aggressor.
non-violent with people
Right.
who are not
Right.
non-violent with us.
And we
Right,
have
but we're
to know
not
when
the
to walk away.
aggressor because, as he stated on there yesterday, the aggressors are the losers,
Mm.
right?
Wow.
So if you are aggressed upon, you do have the right to defend yourself, but don't be the aggressor. But if you put in position, know how to handle yourself, right?
Yep.
So self-defense is different from just an all-out brawl.
Mm.
Makes sense?
No, I love that, and thank you. I think that's the perfect way for us to segue.
No, I want to
That's what happened last week.
but for real, like, so, like Jabbar said, his homeboy shot a lot of people.
Yeah,
You can't be the one to shoot a lot of people and then put yourself in a position where you're gonna have to defend yourself.
okay,
So when you go to jail, you're gonna have to defend yourself.
yeah, and you
I
know,
talk to kids
Yeah.
and I tell them about the PREA Act, about the Prison Rape Act, how 90% of juvenile offenders when they go to prison are raped.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's grown men
90%?
waiting on you
yeah,
Wow.
when you get there. So young shooter,
Jesus.
you done burnt somebody, you going to prison.
yeah,
There's somebody that been here 30 years, ain't never coming home and looking at you as a spouse.
yeah,
Mm.
and you
And
know,
you can't defend
you know
yourself,
how to
homie.
defend yourself. I love that. So, now you said self-defense is different from fighting. I think that was, and again, a great segue because now we want to get into the conversation around domestic violence and domestic violence, the violence that we know about, we know it exists, but we don't see it all the time until something tragic happens. And so just naming it for real, police have identified one of last week's homicides. They're classifying it as a domestic violence event. Too often these stories become the statistics. And so let's talk about some of the warning signs before the tragedy. I'm going to go back to, and this is really, I'm directed it at Sister Naira, but anybody can feel free to jump in this. Before we start talking about the the violent and unhealthy relationships, what does a healthy relationship look like? Because in our community, there's a lot of people who are not seeing, successful relationships. And so just, briefly, what does a healthy relationship actually look like?
Wow. The first thing that came up into my mind is my relationship. Right?
Amen.
I've been with my husband for 28 years, thank God. And we're happily married. I was married before, and that served its purpose. I got 3 beautiful children. We still friends, but a healthy relationship looked like 2 people that's in it to win.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so a healthy relationship within our home, we practice the laws of communication. We continuously date each other. We're proud to be married.
Yeah.
Right. That's a form of communication. When people see relationships, you can make the relationship a marriage or a relationship look bad if every time people see you, y'all not hugging, y'all not holding hands, you know what I mean? Your language, you're not speaking life into a relationship. So setting a good example looks like a couple that can set a good example of what it is to be in a healthy relationship, for me, is 2 people that can communicate.
All right.
That is when you study the family statistics, the root cause of every family breakup or survival, the root cause is the ability to communicate. And there is a formula to that. Do I have affinity for this person? Do I want to share space with you?
Yeah.
That's a healthy relationship. Can we get agreement?
Yeah.
Right? Can we agree upon things? And if we disagree, what is the methods and the mechanisms that we use to disagree?
Yeah.
Right? That raises the communication level and it brings about understanding. When people don't have understanding, one of these points are down.
Yeah.
One, they don't share space or they don't have a liking for each other. We just together because it's convenient.
Yeah.
Right? 2, they don't have agreement.
Yeah.
Okay. And 3, they have the inability to properly communicate. It goes back to talking with versus talking at. And communication in this day and time is a skill.
Wow.
Communication
It's a
and
skill.
comprehension.
Yeah.
Right.
Because you can communicate, but if the other person can't comprehend what you're saying,
Right.
then you talking to a brick wall.
Right.
Yeah.
So it has to be the comprehension a
it's
part
the
of it. Like
duplication of
when
the
you look at
communication.
and knowing each other,
Yeah.
right? And knowing each other what ticks and not, and argue, when you have a disagreement, you do that to be heard and not to be hurtful. A lot of times in relationships, you'll hear people spit out hurtful stuff when you're angry, and that ain't what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to be expressing and you want to be heard, but not hurtful.
I hear that. And what you're saying is kind of, I think, taking us to this next part about it, because the communication, I unite with that, is the solvent for all of these things. And so when we start talking about how do we see when an unhealthy relationship, because you just highlighted what a healthy relationship is, I think we can deduce that an unhealthy relationship is when you're not communicating, when you don't know how to disagree properly, and it just becomes arguments, right? And then the other pieces around, like you said, not properly being able to address it and acknowledge how you feel. And so how do unhealthy relationships become violent? Because that's when we hear about domestic violence, how do unhealthy relationships become violent relationships?
I think it becomes one, you not properly knowing how to communicate. So if you can't articulate how you're feeling, they usually come out in anger.
I can show you better than I can tell you.
And then No, it does. And behind closed doors, people see people as property. When you get married, you be like, this is mine. And so you take the ownership of it. And when you feel like it, then people think that they can put their hands on you because you're mine. And the ownership gives somebody else, put something in their mind that make they feel like I can do what I want to you. And that's what, and in the community, you go back to when domestic violence happened in your grandparents' houses, and they just kind of accept it, but nobody was taught properly how to communicate without putting your hands on each other.
And that goes back to emotional intelligence, like you talked like you
Yeah.
talked about, knowing how to process your feelings and
Yeah.
knowing how to acknowledge where you are and also the other person in the relationship, knowing these things, right? That goes back to emotional intelligence. And I just want to say right now in relationships, the number one disruptor, according to my research, is social media. Right? So that's the disruptor, because people have social media relationships, right?
Okay, yeah.
So they in each
Yeah.
other DMs. Now you got a lot of secrecy in the relationship.
Hidden communication
The
lines.
hidden communication lines. There's
Yeah.
a third party in the relationships. And so now when people come into agreement in relationships, the first question is, can I have your passcode to your phone or your social media? That I mean, there's a time you didn't ask that. If I gotta go through your phone, then it's not even worth it. If I gotta worry about rolling over you on the phone looking at porn or whatever, then why am I in this relationship? Because that's a form of infidelity as well, from my viewpoint.
Okay.
So
So you heard it here? If you haven't heard it before, porn is cheating. That'll be a topic for he said.
Right.
Back soon.
Wait, I said if I have to roll over and you watch a porn, then that is a form of infidelity for me. So I don't want to be other people's household. You understand?
Whatever agreement
So,
they got.
right, because that may be your agreement. So just getting back to
Build your house may burn somebody else's
exactly. So let me just stay on my line where I'm staying. I felt like I went into an uncharted right. So, so we have to be able to get back to relationships and putting in, watch this, healthy boundaries.
Okay.
You understand? Because if I can respect your boundary, you can respect my boundary, then we don't go into toxicity. And then knowing a person, because when you get married, you're marrying their background. So you got to know the person, like how were they as a child. This is why you're supposed to talk. The girls should talk to the mothers, but the men should talk to the fathers. So we got to know who we're marrying. Now we just linking up or in these relationships, and we don't really know the person until we get into bed with the person. So that's what I'm
Thank you.
So no, I want to say I think we have to unlearn some things. We learned some things growing up and watching grandma and mama and daddy and whatever. And a lot of times people try to bring those things to their relationship, but those things were unhealthy. Those things were toxic, right? Some of those things were even illegal, right? But we still sometimes bring that stuff over because it's in us, right? And that's why I remember Derek Grace used to be like, unlearn and relearn. And I think that's something that we got to bring to our relationship, because like domestic violence, like growing up, they want nothing to see domestic violence. Let's go around the house, in the house, and now it's a different world. Right? You'll even hear some of the OGs say, man, it's a different world. You can't do that no more. We used to do this and do that. Smack somebody up and this and that. You're going to jail. And you're going to jail, you're going to sit in jail. Right? Things don't change. And I think that in some people's mind, it hasn't. And they still stuck in that spot. And, they got a place for you.
And then what you just said, being stuck in the spot, but because when you talk about unhealthy relationships, how they become violent, and then there's this conversation about what makes people stay. And so, and Janet, thank you for your vulnerability on our last conversation. You talked about, being in an abusive relationship. And so maybe this question will be for you. What have you seen or experienced as to, like, once people realize that they're in these relationships, why do people stay in those types of relationships when they see that they're unhealthy and become violent?
I think, people stay because they're broken. But it was something about that person that felt a need in that moment, and they're afraid of walking away because they don't want to lose that thing. They're ignoring all of the other behaviors, like manipulation, disrespect, lying.
Speak up just a little bit. Now, we can
hear me.
Just
Manipulation, being disrespectful, short-tempered. Like, they're ignoring all of that, but in the good times, that goodness, that good feeling, that's what they need. And so there's a habit to You need that, but you're broken.
Yeah.
You're so broken that you cannot see that if you stay, that you can die.
Mm.
And so, and you, unfortunately, you fallen in love with this person.
Yeah.
And when you come from a place of lacking love and lacking security and lacking stability, and this person gives you some of that, you say, or you say you're gonna leave, but you're probably saying you're gonna leave because your friends or somebody has heard about it and they don't like it. And so now it's like, you don't need to stay here, and good for you. And it goes in one and out the other ear because you're right back.
Yeah.
And it's like a cycle until you have that moment. Like, I know for me personally, I can speak to that. I almost killed them.
Yeah.
When the police came, they was gonna take me to jail.
Wow.
But my son was watching. My son was watching this all go down.
Yeah.
And it was at that moment I knew that I couldn't do. I couldn't do this. Like, you know what? This is not okay.
Yeah.
And once I really made up my mind, you know, that I was done, and I stepped back out. You know how you're outside of something, but it's like you're looking outside of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's like, you know what? Oh, that wasn't healthy. And then you begin to learn about what a healthy relationship is, what love is, you know, and it just kind of helps, you know, shape your thinking, redirect your thinking, and you stay out. But I contend like people stay because they're broken, because they don't know their worth, or maybe they did know their worth, but they've been so beaten down in that relationship that they've lost all sense of self.
Right.
They've lost all sense of self, because abuse, yes, it can be physical, but mental abuse is sometimes harder, because that mental stuff, when a person breaks you down to the point that you want to harm yourself and you want to take yourself up out of here because of what they've just said, they might not even put their hands on you.
Yeah.
But the constant wearing down, talking down, speaking negativity over you, like that can really break a person's spirit. And even when you leave, you're still like the wounds, those can heal. That black eye, you know, that stuff can heal. But those words can linger, and it takes a lot of work to undo that negativity and darkness that was spoken over you. And then the other thing is, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'll wait till
financial abuse. That's another form of abuse.
Okay.
And even religion, you know, abuse in those areas.
Yeah.
So they're like just different forms of abuse. And again, people stay because there's something that they need. In the case of financial abuse, if that man is the breadwinner, he's paying all the bills. You don't even know what the bank account looked like because he's taking care of everything. You're going to stay. And in the case of our elders, there was a time where you couldn't do nothing unless you were married. You can open up a bank account. You couldn't buy no property. You couldn't even have a credit card unless you were married. And so that keeps you stuck in these toxic situations where the man can have a family on a whole other side of town, and grandma knew about it, but she still stayed with granddaddy because he was the financial person in the house, and she did not want to be destitute out there in the streets with them kids. And she stayed and she put up with all kind of crap, but that is a form of abuse.
Right. And for those who are just tuning in, thank you. Somebody in the chat say, can y'all tell us the topic again? This is somebody on Twitch, so we on Twitch. So thank you for tuning in on Twitch. So we're talking about gun violence, domestic violence, and mental health, and the connection between the two, and some solutions for our community. So thank you for tuning in. Yes. The chat is on fire. Thank you all for the comments. There's a lot of good information in the chat. So thank y'all for your engagement. We want to take a minute and do roll call. So if you're present, let us know that you're here. Just put I am here, present and accounted for, and you're watching the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. And we're talking about the things I just said.
Yeah, and we're at Culture Creative.
And we're at Culture Creative, and we're going to be opening up the space more often so that we can have in-person conversations. We just want to thank y'all and let y'all know that we see you and we acknowledge you. And then when we're talking about domestic violence, a lot of the conversation is around the male domination of females. But I remember King Reed, shout out to King Reed, he used to talk about how men are also victims of domestic violence, and they experience, you know, women who feel like they can put their hands on,
It can
on
go.
the man. Yeah.
It can go both ways,
It
right?
goes both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it can go, and I thought speaking, you go in,
Mm.
right? No, it can go,
Yeah.
but no, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
And then with the men, we're told that like you're supposed to suck it up, like you're a man. So why
Just
you?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't think nobody should really put their hands on each other. Let's say that.
Yeah.
But I also think that a lot of times sometimes you can love yourself and you don't necessarily have to be broken, but you have been taught wrong about what love looks like.
Okay.
You know, I
If
think
he don't hit you, he don't love you.
and so a lot
That baby boy kind of love.
right and
Yeah.
so
Stop you,
again
don't
you
love
don't because
If
this is
I
what
didn't
you
love you, I wouldn't lie to you.
and so like when you put a label on things because you're not in their household, you don't know what loves look like to them.
Okay.
Just because you define love as soft touch and love, somebody else don't define it that way
Yeah.
because they were taught different, you know. And so like you say, if he don't hit you, he don't love you. And then you look when parents beat their children and all that other stuff, and you be like, I'm whooping you because I love you. They internally take that in and think that if somebody's not putting their hands on them, they don't really love them.
Yeah.
Right. And then men, and this could go men or women, if I'm not fighting for you, I'm not showing you that I love you.
Mm.
Right. And so when we think about it, it's about your mindset and rechanging it and showing you the proper way how to express your love in a healthy, safe way and not this toxic way.
Right. I appreciate that. Ed, you had something. And then King Jeff, I want you
And
to
then Sister Nair one. I said something that like, yeah.
Ed and Jay have been quiet.
Go ahead, King.
So that's crazy. Communication.
Yeah.
I think that is the key because nobody's household perfect. Even with the things that's going on, my reflection was you don't know what's going on behind people's closed doors.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That was really what broke down to me.
Yeah.
And I know in my household, if you know me, it's a 95% chance that I'm home.
Yes, sir.
And not to say that it's perfect. It's not to say that we don't argue, but the way we communicate is different.
Yeah.
Because in the midst of our argument, in the midst of our passion, it ain't gonna be no B words or no H
baby,
words
okay.
thrown around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're gonna figure out other words to say that disrespects each other because love ain't supposed to hurt.
That's right.
No, it's not.
You know what I mean?
Mic drop. I thank y'all for coming out. God bless.
It wasn't designed to hurt.
Bless you, good night.
You know what I mean? So
That's right.
then me marrying a woman that was in a previous abusive relationship kind of put me in a position where I have to be careful with how I react.
Yeah.
I can't be overly aggressive. I can't be financially abusive
Yeah.
because that is very. I'm glad she hit that.
So being sensitive and being considerate.
Because those are triggers.
Yeah.
And if you don't know people triggers, you put them in somewhere.
Yes.
And you say love ain't supposed to hurt, and I'm gonna back up.
Yeah.
But again, we hear all the time, if you ain't fighting for it, it ain't worth nothing. Like you gotta go through the struggles to get to here. We're teaching that we say all of that all the time and don't realize how the words have power. Okay, go ahead.
Amen. Ed, you want some
Hold on.
Wait a minute.
I want to
Go ahead.
You were saying about the financial abuse.
Nah,
and just being mindful and considerate.
So-
What I took away was being mindful of, and it was kind of a tie-in to what Sister Naira was saying about the courtship process. You get into these relationships and you don't know that was an experience, and so you just showing up, not mindful, and so you wonder like, I ain't really saying like it. Like you think that it wasn't that bad what you said, but then they having like a whole meltdown. You like, why are you tripping? But you don't have a
realize the
consideration
power
of
of
the
your
matter.
word.
Yeah.
And again, we drop it back on the fathers.
Yeah.
Just like the men, the fathers got to be there for the present for the women so that they can see how you loved on their mama.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Right. Right.
Like y'all came to my party, I had 3 beautiful grown daughters.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of myself because I see something in their spouses from me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
True.
Because they were like, no, my daddy don't play like that, so you can't play like that. You know what I mean? So that's very important. Very, very important that we set the standards for our daughters, man. Our daughters can't really, you know, they can't navigate it with just mama either.
Yeah.
Just like the boys can't either.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I just want to say, mothers got to set the standard too.
Yeah.
Because when you're in a household and you see your mom getting abused and she stays,
Yeah.
that's communicating that it's okay.
Okay. Yeah.
When you see your mom getting her head knocked in and it's like she's staying,
Yeah.
you know, and you see it happening more than once.
Mm-hmm.
And she stayed. To me, it reinforces that type of behavior is okay.
Right.
And so your frontal lobe ain't developed, but you feel like you want to date, and you start running into these individuals that exhibit that same behavior, but you don't catch it because you have been conditioned to think that it's okay.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
So
Sister Nayira?
Thank you. This is good. So I just want to talk about the flip side of this. I was a child that grew up in a domestic violence home.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say this. I love my daddy. He's gone. Still a daddy's girl to this day.
Yeah.
But my daddy beat my mom,
Mhm.
right? Like literally on the weekends, my mom had a floor model TV. We was on top of the TV. She was pushing us down the street to save her TV, going to my grandma's house.
Mhm.
So and we was conditioned at a certain point, everybody got to get up and we got to go. So I'm a product of being in a home where domestic violence was very prevalent. My dad was on alcohol. So when he would drink, but he would tell me in particular, I'm the oldest, you don't want a man that do this, right?
Mm.
And so he would come in the house and he would throw dishes and this, that, and the other. So where am I going with this? When I got older, my communication was when I get upset, I threw dishes,
Mm.
I broke things, right? I was the person that would hit you first.
Okay.
Okay. So, that was very toxic.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't that I was just, I'm an abuser. That was my love language. That's how I knew that was what I was conditioned to do,
Yeah.
right? As the female in the relationship, and that carried on until I got with my husband. Thank God. Y'all give my husband a house. I'm being very vulnerable, transparent here. Even within my religion, people didn't know that hell. When I got home and my husband pissed me off, I'm gonna break up everything because I needed his attention. That's the way I got his attention. He was very quiet.
Yeah.
So I needed to wake him up,
Yeah.
And then when I started throwing stuff, and he like, what's wrong with you? You don't ignore me. Now you want to pay attention.
Yeah.
But now I'm so grateful. And this is why training is so important. And we got to be open to new ways. This auditing, this therapy that, this valid therapy that I participated in and that I help families with, it got to the root cause. It was, it was way bigger than that. And my mom stayed in a relationship because it was survival mode for her and her children,
Yeah.
So I've learned how to communicate. I've learned how to put down throwing things, but I got to the root, the pain, and it's gone. Like it's gone, so therapy is very important, and not just that type of therapy where you gloss over it. No, you got to go all the way down because the truth is my mom was in domestic violence when she was pregnant with me.
Yeah.
You understand? So this goes all the way back to the womb. So a lot of things that we're doing, we thinking, it's just, you do it because of the environment, which is stronger than heredity. But what happened in the womb?
Yeah.
Right?
That's another environment.
That's another environment.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is to say all of this is that I was that girl, in the relationship, and not because I wanted to be abused, be the abuser, or, act out in these type of ways. It was the reactivity of that mind again, the reactive mind. And you never know what can trigger it, what smell, or people don't always have to be in an argument. It's you're not talking to me.
Yeah.
I want your attention. I need you to say something to me. And if you don't have the words to say, now I feel unfulfilled, or I feel abandoned. You understand?
My wife would understand. My wife would understand what that
Your
reaction
mother
is.
used to, every time they came home and abused you, it was a beer that they popped.
Right.
And if they see somebody drinking that same beer, it triggers them.
Right.
And then now they're going down that spiral, and now they're being abusive and angry because they haven't addressed the little girl or little boy now.
Right. And my dad, even though he would fight my mom, he showed me so much love.
Yeah.
Right. So now it's like that love that I seen in my daddy. Well, I don't see that in you. You understand? So now I'm responding to that. So thank God again for the type of therapy that I've had, that now my husband and I, we've grown through that, right? We've processed through that. We're healing through that, because he also came into the relationship with things. But now we can say, I started here, but we're here. How I got over, right? And it was through that valid therapy called Dianetics. So thank you for allowing me to share.
No,
that.
I thank you. No, I
You
thank you for
quiet,
that.
Ed. Get your
I thank you
mic
for
on
that. But
And we got 10 minutes, y'all.
we got to really think about also that trauma bond, right?
That's my job.
One mic, y'all. I want to hear this one.
I'm sorry.
That trauma bond, where people bond over trauma,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And we bond over pain,
Right.
Even when we the ones creating the pain,
Yeah.
right? And sometimes that's how domestic violence relationships sometimes be tight. Right. I remember a time we see a dude beating up on his girlfriend. We try to help that girl, and that girl switched out on us.
Yeah.
That girl with the helping him try to beat us up.
Yeah.
And it's like, what's going on here? Well, they was bonded through that trauma.
Through that trauma.
Through that pain, they was click tight. And it's a dangerous, toxic thing, but it's a real thing.
Right. And what you just said, really, we were on the same page, because I was going to ask, how, so like seeing this, and this narrative, and we've seen it and it's true, not denying it. I think sometimes when they become hashtags and these quotables, we lose some of the significance of what's being said.
Yeah.
And there's a quote that's attributed to Malcolm X where he talks about the Black woman being the least respected and the least protected out of all women, in society. And you see that narrative constantly being repeated. And so, particularly to the men on the panel, when you identify and you see that there's a woman that's in this type of relationship, like what you talked about, how do we as men in the community intervene, or should we intervene in that? Like, how do we say this is not going to happen in our community as men? How do you navigate that?
You got to get professional help, because just like I was saying, it's hard to come between that. My dog used to say, "Come thicker than blood."
Yeah.
And
you 40.
and that be 40.
I was gonna bring that up.
But
E40 once said.
But it's a true thing, and it's so delicate.
Yeah.
Because you will put it all on the line trying to help somebody, and they switch sides.
Yeah.
They be like, "Who are you? It's mind your business."
Yeah.
So it's so delicate. That's why I would suggest professional help.
Yeah.
Right. Try to get the person some professional, some good help, because it's so sensitive. And you'll be out there on the ledge, boy, and the person who's being domestic violence to be the person that pushed you over.
Wow. Yeah, talk to me, man. What we do? How we?
That comes thicker than blood. It's so many layers with domestic and the things that lead to domestic violence. It's actually a situation going on right now that I need to address with a certain individual. I'm not really sure how to address it, but I got wind of a young lady that's a friend. I consider her a friend, young girl, and she's actually in a domestic situation. And I need to reach out to her. I don't know if I need to reach out to her dad, because I know her dad. I don't know her mom.
Okay.
But I don't want to go to the individual that's actually causing the pain.
Yeah.
So could you guys kind of like I don't know. I know the dad. I don't know the mom, but I need to address that. I don't even know if they even have wind of it, but I'm going to give it to them today.
Yeah.
So I'm torn in between what direction I'm gonna go, but I'm going in some direction either way, because their daughter's being abused.
Right. And I thank you for saying that and naming that, right? Because when we here, we on these panels, and it's because God blessed us with platforms, and we have lived experience and things that we know, but that don't mean we know everything. Right. And that don't mean we have solutions and things that we know that we can route you to, but we don't have them all. And so for you just to say that, right? Look, I'm dealing with this in real time, and I need some support and some direction on how to handle that. And I'm not gonna act like I know. Oh, but all you gotta do is like I'm not gonna just make up something to sound intelligent or sound smart on this podcast and on this radio program, because that's what I've seen a lot happen now. Like everybody's a subject matter expert in the world of social media, and you end up getting some real bad advice because they tell you something and you thinking, okay, well, because million people listening, they must know what they're talking about. I'm not gonna abuse our space that way. So maybe we can connect offline and come up with some ways.
Yes, sir. In the healing circle yesterday, I met this lady from CASA, and she talked about how to support.
Hold on, rewind that back. Rewind that back. Where?
In the healing circle.
And what happened?
At Child's Park.
And what happened at that?
I met this lady from CASA.
Okay, guys, talking about bringing resources to the community.
And she actually have a program on how to support people that's in a domestic violence relationship. So if you can get that contact for him, and I think that they can give you ways on how to safely approach that, because there is a strategy when people are going through these things. So Brother John, you do actually have a resource to help him. The lady from CASA yesterday.
Thank you very much. And I'm glad you lifted that up, because my role yesterday was just making sure the chairs was where they needed to be, making sure ice was in the cooler, making sure the sound worked, and then everybody else was kind of doing their things. So thank you. And again, thank you for naming that, because that was the whole point of the space. And it was really low-key in a response to what you were saying in your live. You were saying, where is the help? We need the help. We need, and me knowing like it's a lot help out here. So that was what that healing space, the dual purpose was like, to get people in the space, but also to bring those resources. And so to hear that, you're really more.
And speaking of that, the resources and the availability of the resources, you mentioned Child's Park. I have a lot of friends and acquaintances and nephews and that can't go to Child's Park. They like just being real. Like, I'd be like, hey, no. No, can't go over there.
My grandson, like we do Friday night done right.
We can't go over there.
And he was like he was concerned about going to the South,
and that's a real concern. And that's just being real, like, and that's a problem that's not addressed a lot. Just the division in the city, like,
and it's not just the perception.
It's reality. Like I say, Child's Park is like, come on. Like for real,
that's
like,
a good thing. But
like
just
that messed up.
Because they brought their hoods. And they got their
so it ain't gangs, it's hoods.
It's always been hoods. Come on.
We don't. I understand we hyper making it bigger than what it is, but like it's always, bro. We from over here on 9th Street. We ain't going over there.
We Harvardale.
You had Child's Park, and then you had the hood.
No, for real. Our whole city was split by 34. You know what I mean? So it's kind of always been like that, but it is a very big and very growing gang affiliation and type style neighborhoods in our community. People really don't realize, like, reason I'm home right now, I ought to be home, but reason I'm home because they changed the crack laws. In the midst of changing the crack laws, they swapped it out for gang laws. This was a swap out because we're going to keep the prisons full one way or the other. So this is when you start seeing them get arrested because of gangs. So now look at your son. I'm YTR Dolph. This is my gang tag. The police looking at you as a gang member now, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because
and there's enhancements that come with that.
And this is where you get categorized.
Security level go up, everything.
All of that. So this is happening right here in our neighborhood. It's Crips and Bloods in St. Pete.
Yes.
Wow. Don't think it ain't.
And other little groups.
And other little hoods. It's folks. It's GDs. They're here.
I actually had an experience being a club owner, and then that reality didn't hit me until later on down the line. So I have a few nephews. I'm more towards the 9th Street area, but I can go anywhere. That's just me. And it was a situation where some kids from another side of town wanted to come into the club. Me, I know their uncles, their moms, I let them in, and my little nephew was like, man, what you doing? Like, what you doing? they from Cross. So I'm like, no, they from St. Pete.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, they from St.
That's
Pete.
right.
He like, no, they from
Yeah.
Cross.
Pressure.
Mind you,
Yeah. Yeah.
20, 30 minutes later, a hail of gun bullets.
Mm.
Nobody, fortunately, nobody got shot. But the next day, they was mad at me. It's your fault. Why you let them in? Why you let them in?
Wow.
So me being naive, not really understanding the battle, the war that's going on amongst this city, and I was like, what y'all mean? What y'all mean? So they kind of broke it down to me. And with that being said, it was like, okay, this our club. It was my club physically,
Yeah, but it's
but
dead.
in reality,
Yeah.
it was their club.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they were trespassing, and they felt like I allowed the trespass.
Mm.
In the midst of me allowing that trespass, guns would,
Yeah.
because that's what typically happens. It's not the first time at a place that I occupied, and it's like that's the reality. Is like it's a war.
Mm.
You say domestic, we got domestic terrorists going on in the
Okay.
city.
Okay. Thank
You
you.
know what I mean? It's
Well,
a lot.
Wait. So hold on. Yeah. Because when you say domestic, we usually think household.
Mhm.
But not domestic means community.
Oh,
right here.
God.
And I want to say, I want
Domestic, yeah, domestic.
Yeah. You just open it up. to a whole-
And like Jab say, we going back to the parents.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So I kind of like, okay, man, I look at it, I know your dad, who your dad is, who your mom is, and I try to get to the source.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a good result. A lot of times, a lot of ignorance. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
parents acting naive and oh, my child don't do this. I mean, I actually one of the kids came in. And I knew him because he played football with my son.
And when you say kids, give me an age range. Just
To me, a kid is 21, 22, 23, 24,
Yeah.
25, 26.
and I just want to say that because
27,
you
them
saying
kids to
clubs
me.
and kids, and I want to make sure that they
20, 24, 23.
Yeah.
That's to me, that's a kid.
That's right.
Because
That's
your
right.
brain still hasn't developed, especially with social media and all this stuff. They're not, and then just to conversate with him, you like, for real.
Yeah.
I call them all jits. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's from, you know what I mean? And I didn't think I would be in this space because prior to me coming home from prison, I was like, man, I ain't dealing with no YNs or, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But based on my business practice, I was in their presence. So
Yeah.
my heart changed and I was more of an advocate. People, oh, you got them young kids around, not knowing I'm mentoring your child. I'm diffusing
Yeah.
so much tension and violence in the
That
city.
conversation that I had with your son.
Just by the grace of God,
Yeah.
man, just by
Yeah.
the grace
Same.
of God, I was put in that situation and I got embedded in the community. Like, okay, man, we really got a war going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I see myself as an advocate to try to like mend some of those wounds. So I ask a lot of questions and, I get a lot of answers. And a lot of them are like blood spilled on the concrete. Like, we not coming back from this.
Yeah.
But I still be trying to talk to him like, man, he did this, they did that. And I'd be like, for real? And I kind of get the history. But man, St. Pete got a lot of healing to do, man. It starts with the parents.
Yeah.
Being able to talk to your child and, hey, this might be his cousin on his dad's side.
Mm.
Like it's the domestic violence and the domestic disputes in St. Pete are so real, man.
I hear that, and like I said, going forward, when I hear these black on black things, or you hear family, members getting into it, what you just said kind of shifted my perspective because we don't categorize that as domestic violence, but that's another form
Or
of
domestic violence.
Yeah.
So
And it's generational.
Yeah.
It's been going on since we was kids.
Mhm.
I'm hearing what you're saying, bro, and I want y'all to realize that this is what he just said, the blood spilled on the concrete.
Yeah.
This is the core foundation of gang violence.
Okay.
Mm.
Crips and Bloods wasn't designed to fight against each other. They were to protect the neighborhood.
Yeah.
But what people don't know, if you're in Cali, Crips kill more Crips than Bloods.
And I want to
You
just
know what I
pause
mean?
for a minute, and I hope you don't lose the thought,
Sure.
but just for context, because you lived in California
I was raised in Los Angeles.
for a number of years, and so this is not something that you didn't see this on
No,
colors.
I left.
Yeah.
I left St. Petersburg.
Yeah.
I left Laurel Park at 8 years old, and I graduated high school in Los Angeles. I didn't move back here to 19.
Thank you. And that's so continue.
So I
when you
didn't
talk
go to
about
high school in St. Pete.
right.
I
So
graduated
you very
high
familiar
school
with the
in Los
culture.
Angeles.
Yeah. With the
So when I
culture.
talk about the gang culture, this is something that I was actively raised in and participate.
Right.
Mm.
Right.
So I can, as I was saying, thank you,
Yeah.
because the blood spilled.
Yeah.
What happens here? This hood killed somebody from my hood.
Yeah.
Now we got internal, we got forever beef.
Yeah.
Now, because he got killed, 30 other people then got killed because he got killed.
Yeah.
And we started training up because it's going to always be war.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
And so, King Jab, with your lived experience, right? I'm sure you saw some of those gang summits and those peace treaties and those truces and that kind of stuff. Would you mind sharing some, if you have experience with that? Like, because I do remember there was moments where you see, a headline where the gang squashed the beef. I remember Minister Farrakhan, doing some work around that and being able to call the leaders together and then, cause these truces to happen. Would you mind sharing any experience that you had with that, how it started, and then what caused that to be undone?
You really want to know the reason behind the truth?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
The gang truth?
Yes.
I was controlling drug trade.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with violence.
Yeah.
It had something to do with the Mexicans bringing in the drugs, and we need the Crips and Bloods distributed.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They ain't had
And so the peace is being supported because
y'all messing up the bag, bro.
Yeah. And it fuels
Y'all messing up the bag.
Yeah.
This is the Los Angeles politics.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Y'all messing up the bag. Even with gang violence, it's hyperalized, Crips and Bloods, but I would say 65% of gang violence is black against Mexicans.
Wow.
We don't even look at the black. When you go to prison, Crips and Bloods got to get along or get killed and murdered off by Mexicans.
Wow.
Nobody speak on that. You're in prison, Crips and Bloods brought them together.
Yeah, and I think people don't speak on it because they don't have knowledge of it. They don't know about it. And so for those who are just tuning in, thank y'all. We're having a very amazing conversation. We done found our stride. Y'all feel it? You feel it? The first one we was kind of like pushing, trying to.
No, but when you talk about it, they want to make us always the bad people, so they don't talk about the violence with other cultures.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like they want to always make it seem like we can't get together and link up and protect each other, but they don't talk about, like, again, Jab say in prison they link up together and they're fighting the Mexicans, right? But they always want to paint it is that we're so angry with each other, we only fight each other, and that's not necessarily true.
And I want to add this, and I was thinking about this as Ed was talking, and Jab made me really think about it. Like, this is really like engineered, right? It wasn't no different size of town. Like, all the black people kind of lived in the same place. But then once those communities was busted up through these interstates and redlining and everything, then it became size of towns and territories. And just like in California, the same happening here.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, like, we have to address like the programming.
Yeah.
We got to address like the real elephant in the room is like, okay, y'all, we've been socially engineered to think like this and do this stuff. Like, and how do we like really confront it? How do we really address it? Because I think we think it's what we're doing.
Yeah.
But we don't see the hidden hand because you ain't supposed to see the hidden hand.
Puppet master.
You ain't supposed to see it, right?
So
So
the gag is up if you see the hand. Yeah.
and you ain't but just in my thought process, because like I grew up in Laurel Park too,
Yeah.
but we ended up on Cross 34.
Yeah.
Now think about how my life would have been different,
Mm.
right?
Yeah.
Just think about that. Like most of us came from Laurel Park or in those areas,
Yeah.
right?
And
Before
then
the disbursement.
I remember another disbursement that happened with Hope 6 and Jordan Park.
Yep,
They broke
yep.
up Jordan Park.
Yep,
And they
yep.
started pushing everybody
That was
out.
another
And-
disbursement,
Yeah.
yep.
And a lot of people came west
Yeah.
during that time as well. Look, I want to make sure that we cover the bases, right? And so again, we're having a conversation about gun violence, domestic violence, and mental health. We covered the first two. Thank y'all for that. So we're going to begin to land the plane with the conversation on mental health. And this is definitely one that we can't avoid. And we spent a lot of time on this last week as well, but I want to continue that conversation. And so we realize that every tragedy leaves some trauma behind, whether it's families, children, the witnesses, the community, people who live down the block where you heard the shots and the trauma that happened. The first responders, I remember working with, talking with Chief Watts, and he talked about the trauma that the first responders, when you get to the scene, what you're seeing, like, that don't leave you right away. Like, you have to process that and handle that. And so, entire neighborhoods and communities. And so when we start talking about addressing this, and I'll address this to you, Sister Nayera, because this comes up a lot. How do you think faith, spirituality, and emotional wellness work together as a solution towards this problem?
I definitely believe that all three work together. The Honorable Minister Farrakhan teaches us that all sickness comes from sin and transgression, whether that's your individual transgressions or, watch this, the sins of the mothers and fathers shall be visited upon the children.
Wow.
So that's where the generational trauma comes together, right?
Yeah.
The generational emotional trauma comes. Like all of this stuff is learned behaviors, right? And then you start to act upon it yourself. So faith is really important because faith in your religious sectors you're going to be taught your core principles, right?
Okay, yeah.
Whether it's in your household, I'm not talking about church or mosque, I'm talking about in your household. That's your faith,
Yeah.
whatever that is, whatever you was taught. So that is really key, right? Your emotional intelligence, we said a lot, but how do you process that? And what is your means and methods to do that? And you said faith, religion, and
emotional wellness.
Well, emotional awareness. So yes, they all three comes together, but all sickness, whether that's spiritual sickness, mental, emotional, all of it comes from transgressions.
Yeah.
So we got to be able to turn. What is this in the scriptures? It says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and what? Pray. Then what? Turn from their wicked ways. Then he will what? Heal their land.
Yes.
The healing comes from turning from our wicked ways. You understand what I mean? Right? It's a turning. That means that's an action. That's a doingness. That's something that we have to be intentional. It's called heal on purpose.
Yes.
And this is the language culture. They say culture is stronger than heredity. What is the culture in the household? What is the culture in the community? What is the culture in your mind? So we got to be able to turn the culture. We can have the conversation, but what's the action behind this?
Yes.
So we got to get in action. We are in action, but I'm saying, what type of actions are we facilitating? Everything starts at home and then spread abroad. Leadership starts in the living room, not in the boardrooms. That's my TEDx talk, by the way. Go watch your TEDx. That's my TEDx talk. You can watch that and get some more content on that. But it starts in the household. And a nation can rise no higher than a woman. The woman got to be retaught, re-educated, and reformed because we shape the community. We shape the environment. Is what we're teaching or what we're not teaching. So yes, all of it play a part, and it starts in the home where the men are the backbone, but the woman is the cornerstone. And so we got to be able to get the corners, get the cornerstone, and begin to reshape. Because right now goes back to the social engineering. What we see in society is affecting the household more and more. So I do know that all of it plays a part. And when we go back to the basics, that's what I would say. Let's go back to the basics.
And then it's again, it's a conversation for the table, because when we grew up on, just pray it away, kind of deal with it. So is there a space? It seems like to me that now we're talking about mental health and therapy more. It seems like people would emphasize like it's an either or, right? Because we say, well, we grew up on prayer and you just pray about it. And now we're talking about therapy, and you'll hear people say, man, bump that therapy, you just need God. Or you'll hear people say, well, we've been praying, for 450 years and it ain't got us nowhere. So where's the balance in this? Is there a space where we
can? I just say that one more thing to your point, and then I just really short. The first form of therapy is in the household.
Yeah.
We gotta listen to people.
Yeah.
Open up a space where you can sit down and have a conversation and listen. And the greatest form of therapy is acknowledging.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
prayer and counseling.
I think you need it all, right?
Yeah.
Like what just happened here, a lot of times people are very selfish and think that like their feelings are the only one that's valid at that time. We see this in this community right now, and what just happened last week there's two sets of families and communities that's hurting, and one is told that they can't hurt, they can't express their feelings because they're on the other side, and that's not fair to them because they didn't do the act.
Yeah.
Not only did a woman lose her life, a mother, child lost their father too.
Yeah.
And they uncle and they friend, and they're the idea that that person was something else to them, but now everybody want them to be angry and mad and not show any love to that one person because this side is grieving.
Yeah.
And that's not fair as a community.
You have no right to grieve.
Right, because that person did something bad.
And that happens, we see that with gun violence.
Right.
There's a lot.
But see, I think the community hurt as a whole, and I think that just adds to more hurt, right?
Yeah.
And we see it. You see the hurtful posts. You see the hurtful comments because people are hurt, right? And not knowing how to deal with those emotions and not knowing what to do or what to say,
Right.
Because even though you hurt, and you're right, when the victim's family is hurt as well as the offender's family, the perpetrator's family. The people are like, oh well, what y'all heard for?
Yeah.
No people did it.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And I think like we just that's more room for growth. That's more room for counseling. We got to talk to some professionals.
Yeah.
Right. We always talk about it. We got to get the professionals in the building.
Yeah.
And we got to take the healing circle on tour.
Yes,
right?
sir.
We got to
So
listen in the block.
That's how it happened. Look, I'm gonna take a page out of Mr. Edmund Bush. You heard it here first. The healing circle is going on tour.
You got to spin the block.
And I think that's just a revelation of something that's obvious, right? It's like a Captain Obvious. We started it in our neighborhood because that's where we live. You sweep around your own front door, but anybody who has heard me talk anytime over the years, you know that we've really done our best to try and make our community a model and show like this is what can be done where you live. And so there's a brother John, there's a Jabbar that's in Harbordale. That's another one, in Auburn. Like there are other people out there that can do these things. And so we just wanted to be an example to show you what's possible and what you can do if you make that connection. This is one I wanted to pitch to you, King Jab, because you do a lot of work with returning citizens. And we understand that returning citizens often are carrying a lot of trauma. And how do you think, or what from your experience, how does untreated trauma from that type of lived experience affect the decision making once you get home?
Untreated trauma.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this first and foremost. As far as the decision making, I'm pretty sure the brother can agree with me. When you come out of there, it's a decision if you're going to give them people any more of your time.
Okay.
That's the
first decision.
That's the first decision.
Yeah.
Element in the world.
Yeah.
It's your time. You can't replace it.
Right.
It can't be given back, and it's over with. It's gone.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, each person have to face their own traumas because nobody bid or prison term was the same.
Right.
So you can't just drop all these people in a basket.
Okay. Yeah, because we say returning
being
citizens.
done. You know
This is what they need.
Yeah, you dropping all these people in one basket, and everybody bid was different.
Yeah.
Everybody had some different stuff go on, some different dark things, some different enlightening things that went on when they was doing their time.
Right.
So individually, you really have to dig in and look into yourself.
Yeah.
Like the sister said, when men come home from prison, I think one of the key things I'm gonna look at and see what you're doing is your spouse.
Yeah.
Because that's gonna be the one that can really help you stay
Lean in
in
a little bit
line.
to say that one more time.
I'm gonna look at it and see who's your spouse.
Okay.
Because that's gonna be the one that can really keep things in line and help you.
A good partner.
Teammate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the person that's gonna help you when it's dark, when you don't really see no way. It's gonna be a partner. Because that partner can say, hey, either you can go get up and go get this job, or you can, hey, hit the streets.
Yeah.
You know what you can do.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean? And that's encouragement.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you support it, and then most importantly, man, when men come out of prison, I think I'm gonna say for me, it was getting over my anger issues and figuring out why I was so angry.
Yeah.
And was I really, really angry?
Yeah.
Or is this just pent up aggression because of what I've been through and I just want to give to somebody?
Yes, sir. Yes,
You know
sir.
what I mean? So it's a lot of psychological avenues going in there. And that really, I'm gonna sum it up in this because I've been looking at myself in a space that has to be addressed right now, and that's in Little League football.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
So I'm looking at myself in this space. Last year, I wasn't proud of myself.
Yeah.
There was some situations where if you'd have got in range, you might have got it.
Okay.
You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
Like, I just need you to get in range, bro.
Yeah.
And I had to step back and say, hold up, bro, what you doing, Jab?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yes, sir.
Now watching the landscape this year, it's already been shooting.
Yeah.
And we ain't even started the season.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Ed, I
free
want you to
season.
lean in on that, my brother.
It's free season.
Man, y'all don't even
So now I'm looking at me. Game at Lakewood. It's finna pop off, St. Pete, Tampa.
Yeah.
Now, instead of me being on the front line as an antagonator, I'm on the front line like, nah, man, ain't nobody gonna do nothing to nobody. Man, y'all going over there. Coaches, y'all going over there. Nah, coach, nah, bro. Nope. Ain't nothing finna happen. If anything ain't finna happen, y'all kids finna play our kids. That's it. I'm in the middle.
Bless it.
Let's
Being
say
a peacemaker.
Yeah.
Then the fight break out.
And that's what we always say too. Somebody
Then the fight break out anyway.
Ed, you had a reaction when you said that. I want to know what that reaction was.
And answer the first question: what the men need, like coming out of prison. Go ahead.
First question, as far as the men coming out of prison, I'm gonna focus more on the people that are not in prison, and that those are the ones who really need the mental. When we say mental health is a stigma. A guy coming out of prison, he's more likely programmed or has the capability or the capacity to understand that mental health is real, and being institutionalized actually helps you. Some people, like you say, depends on your mindset. Helps you like be more receptive to help.
Okay.
Versus someone on the outside never being put in a situation to get help.
So you don't think it apply to you?
Oh, it definitely applies to
No,
everybody.
but I'm saying like people, like you said, like people ain't been. When you come home, you realize, okay, yeah, I'm.
But the people who've been out here going through more than the people who've been in there.
Okay.
Because you're in prison, you're in a
confined and controlled environment
versus being out here and dealing with a million different things.
Yeah.
Prison is controlled.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? For the most part.
I hear that.
And the people out here, that's what make them end up in there because they're not getting the help that they need while they're out here. Yeah. They're getting it when they get inside, if they're smart enough. Now, the second part about the Little League, oh man.
Yeah.
I actually came to an organization this year for the kids' sake.
Yeah. And
the reception I got was, I'm gonna say cold to say the least. And this from somebody I know, I grew up with.
Yeah.
And it went back to the way they're structured, the way it has been structured for many years. If you didn't know, it's a nonprofit organization. But nonprofit doesn't mean nonprofit.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that. Yeah. And with the profit being what it is, and you see the kids on the corner doing all that, that's like to me, that's like old school.
Yeah.
I get it.
I don't agree with that either.
Yeah, but looking into the DNA of it, now that I'm smarter and wiser, it's like, why? There are resources out there.
Yeah.
But like they say, the people have fumbled the bag so many times. So you got the Walmarts and the Targets, they're not willing to invest because the people they're giving the money to have fumbled the bag.
I hear that.
So many times. So now you have the teams, individual coaches struggling to get these kids into football. They're jacking the prices up. It's just crazy, but it's from the adults. It's from the leadership.
Right.
And I've been actually working on a plan to find out where we can actually, someone can delegate instead of just giving the organizations the money, give it to somebody and let them distribute the equipment, the things that need. So you don't give a person an opportunity to fumble the bag and make the kids suffer, because that's who's suffering.
Right.
It's not the organization, it's the kids. Now the kids aren't on the football field, they're in the streets.
Yeah. Yep.
They're not on the football field, they're on the streets.
Right.
Carrying guns, doing domestic things. You know what I mean? It's just more likelihood of them getting into trouble by not being on the field.
Right, right.
And then you got the adults when they're on the field cutting up worse than the kids.
So you need the not only the emotional regulation of the children, but the adults have to be the models for it. So we got 5 minutes left. We got to land this plane, and I wanted to just spend, and if we can make this a lightning round. Let's talk about the investments and like what are some of the investments that we think can be made within the next 5 years that will make a difference. And again, knowing that we got 5 minutes left, govern yourself accordingly, but just top of mind things like if you know there was a magic wand and there was unlimited opportunity to invest in something that can address these issues in our community, what would you say some of those investments should be over the next 5 years?
A governing body,
okay,
to delegate.
Okay,
They need delegation.
Yeah,
because they're too irresponsible. When 20, 30, 40,000, whatever they're giving them, they may put 10 in the organization, 10 in their pocket.
Okay,
you know what I mean? Just they need someone to overseer, someone to delegate the funds, so the kids aren't on the corner waving. You know what I mean? That's just crazy to me.
I hear that.
I mean, that shit hurts.
Let's start and go around the table. So now you're some investments that can be made over the next 5 years.
Yes, sir. As a founder of the Repair the Black Family, I specialize in generational trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would like to see people invest in helping us train up, or people to train up counselors.
Okay.
Right. Like for me, I know how to help people to eradicate generational trauma.
Yeah.
And I could train others on how to do that. So in mental health, you know, to be able to bring more of these seminars to our community, because it costs to do these things, right?
Yeah.
So if we can have someone that will invest in training others within our community that don't have to go to the schools, but that know how to do it in an alternative way to handle our own problems and eradicate generational trauma. So that's what I would say.
Yeah, investments that can be made. That 5 done turned into 3.
I'm sorry.
No.
I'm sorry. I think the investments need to come on. I'm trying to lay this out right, but I think the investments need to come in a form of where it's actually being helpful to the community. Like what the sister said, we need to train the trainers. Even right now, I'm working on a program for doulas.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And our young Black women don't even know what a doula is.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just at the beginning stages, like when I say that, like they don't even know what it is. You know that?
Yeah.
So now we're trying to give them a resource, but they don't even know what it is. So now the investment goes back first to the household, parents, then to the kids. And I'm a firm believer in the baby bottle. I'm gonna go back to that baby bottle. Our biggest investment needs to go to that next generation.
Amen.
The grandkids. Because we can get them all the game that we got, and they'll soak it up.
Thank you for that, King Jeff.
I'm gonna say investing in the household, your children's mental health. We take them to school, we get them physicals, we make their hair appointment, we go school shopping, and all of that costs. Build into your budget, getting your child into therapy at a very young age.
Yeah.
Do those checkups at the beginning of the school year, the middle of the school year, end of the school year. And some schools actually have therapists on site. And in some cases, it don't even cost you anything. But do those checkups, because depression and suicide amongst our little ones, it is growing.
Yeah.
So invest in getting your child into getting some mental health services, and then ultimately look at doing family therapy. And that's how you start to teach them the skills they need to be able to communicate what they're feeling at a very young age, because they be going through stuff too. And if you can get them young, it'll help them be adults, and young adults. They can learn how to communicate how they're feeling and have better control of their emotions.
Right. Thank you.
Everything they said, right?
Okay.
But I think the last time we were, not the time before, when brother Islam was here.
Brother
Reza.
Reza. Yeah.
And we talked about starting that fund and getting the security in our own neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And like really looking at that and funding stuff that we can handle ourselves and making sure our community is safe and that we have the resources that they can touch is something that I would love to see within the next 5 years.
Thank you for that. Edmund.
Man, I wouldn't know where to start. There's so much that needs
Right.
to be done. I agree with everything that's been said. I think I would just add, some robust youth and young adult jobs, right? Maybe shave some of the money from the top and bring it down to the bottom.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I think a lot of the trauma that we're dealing with is economic based, and solving some economic issues to help alleviate some of the pain.
Yeah. Thank you for that. And thank you all.
What about you?
We don't have time. And then I'm honoring my role as conductor. All right. That's the drum of the horns. And I'm just like, and so, but thank you all again for this amazing continuation of the conversation. The bond that I think we built over the last, several days has gotten stronger. And so I appreciate that. I'm definitely looking forward to continuing to work with you all. And I also want to thank the audience, those who have tuned in, tapped in. I'll take these comments and we can do a What the People Say for Wednesday.
Okay.
What's on your mind Wednesday. And we want to, again, just encourage everybody to be encouraged, stay strong. And yeah.
Happy 727 Day, everybody.
Today is 727 Day. So
Meet us at Birds. Come to Birds
Bird this
tonight.
evening, 6 to 10.
Yes.
Y'all pull up.
And get your shirts. Get your 727 Bird Day shirt.
Yeah. Look, he missed the whole.
Yeah.
You missed the meeting, my brother.
Oh, I did?
Yeah, you did. So yeah, thank y'all for tuning in.
I be visiting all the time.
This is the Tampa Bay Breakfast Club. I'm your brother John.
Bye.
Oh, this is
Yeah, bye.
All right.
Thank you.